Something inexplicable has been found inside the mesa. The group finds a brittle substance that emerged from the pit and speculates that it may have been released by the machinery. They came to the conclusion that drilling should proceed despite the difficult layer. They hypothesize that the hard layer may have the shape of a dome or a V. They discover a significant quantity of metallic stuff in the spoils pile, which suggests that the hillside may contain much more metallic material. They bring in an expert in subterranean visualisation to explore the holes with a robotic camera. They utilize the robotic camera to investigate the hole, and during their investigation, they find that a massive boulder has recently fallen and is blocking the entrance. They study the peculiar contours of the boulder and speculate on what might be hidden within the mesa. They make the decision to pack up and head off for the day. The results of the team's analysis of the metal that was drilled out of the mesa are brought to their attention. Did they just find something inexplicable inside the mesa? Tellurium and europium, both of which are utilized in the production of semiconductors and superconductors, have been identified as being present in the analysis. These materials find widespread application in today's technological devices. They hypothesize on the structured form of the substance and talk about how rare the elements are that make up the material. The group discusses the relevance of the particular components that were discovered in the material, as well as the likelihood that the material was purposefully constructed. They begin to mull over the possibility that they have stumbled onto an artifact or anything else that was never meant to be found. They talk about the tales they have heard about ships flying into deep holes and debate what might be inside. The group consults a metals expert who then performs analysis on the samples. The samples contain components including iron, calcium, oxygen, and rare elements like magnesium, manganese, aluminium, europium, and tellurium. The knowledgeable individual compares the substance in question to the ceramic oxides that NASA use in order to shield space shuttles from the effects of re-entry. They talk about the likelihood of coming across other samples in the future so that they can collect more data. It is no news that the events of the series takes place at Skinwalker property, a 500-acre property that is said to be the site of paranormal and UFO-related occurrences. The series follows a group of investigators and skeptics as they look into the allegations of these events. The owner of the ranch, Brandon Fugel, and an aerospace engineer by the name of Travis S. Taylor are both part of the team. It is reported that the namesake ranch is routinely visited by a wide variety of paranormal phenomena, including embodied voices and poltergeists, as well as UFOs and the mutilation of livestock. Furthermore, it is said that the ranch is frequently visited by more than one paranormal phenomenon at the same time. The strange occurrences that took place on the ranch have been the focus of a number of distinct scientific inquiries. One of these inquiries was conducted by a top-secret program based in the Pentagon. What is less well known is the claim that several investigators have made, which is that paranormal occurrences follow them home. Brandon Fugel, the enigmatic proprietor of the facility known as Skinwalker Ranch, recently granted an interview to the website Den of Geek, during which he revealed that the activities that take place there are not always kept a secret. Fugel is well known throughout the state of Utah as an influential and prosperous businessman and real estate developer. It was in a local bookstore that he first learned about the Skinwalker Ranch. The business was located in the neighborhood. In the episode, the team investigates purportedly paranormal occurrences using a variety of equipment, such as ground-penetrating radar. They look into a variety of claims, such as ionizing radiation, dire wolves, UFOs, a human bone found in an airtight prison, and cow mutilation, among other things. The UFO videos captured by the Pentagon can also be seen on television pretty frequently. This week's broadcast features Linda Moulton Howe as one of the guests on the show. Author Jason Colavito attacked the show for making allegations about the ranch that were typical of those who scare themselves silly imagining supernatural encounters there. The charges were made in the episode that the place was haunted. Colavito stated that the myths that surrounded the ranch were entirely a modern creation, fabricated in the late 20th century, and he proposed that, quite possibly, those watching a network whose average viewer is a white man around 60 years old, like seeing very slightly younger white men pretending to take decisive action and pretending to master supernatural power, as a possible explanation for the popularity of the myths. There have been legends and speculations circulating around the state for close to 2 centuries regarding unusual events that have taken place at the Sherman Ranch, which could be true in full, in part, or not at all. Over the course of many years, rumors of demonic red-eyed wolves, shape-shifting creatures, poltergeists, UFO activity, crop circles, cows slain and exhumed with laser precision, poltergeists and crop circles have been whispered, spoken, and shouted about. Initially, the ranch became synonymous with UFO sightings, but soon eyewitnesses began reporting mysterious humanoid apparitions, along with sightings of what's been described as evil witches and wolf-like creatures. It is widely believed that the ranch is haunted by skinwalkers, which are shape-shifting demons that are mentioned in Native American folklore. This theory is also where the ranch's new name came from. The idea is one that has a profound presence in Navajo culture throughout history. However, there are no Navajo people for hundreds of miles in either direction. So why would skinwalkers show up in Ute land and terrorize the locals there? After the Ute people abused the Navajo several centuries ago, one belief proposes that the skinwalkers are there as a curse and a punishment, because they are responsible for the mistreatment. The concept behind this statement is that the ground that everyone who steps foot on the ranch contaminates spiritually for all of eternity. There is, of course, very little evidence to support the claim that the strange occurrences at Skinwalker Ranch are due to the location having a portal between dimensions. But the idea has been proposed by some individuals who are more creative. Several people have asserted that they have witnessed brilliant orange and/or blue lights that flash in the night and that dominate the sky. It is believed that each one lasts around 10 seconds and may be seen from a height of about 1,000 feet. The key tenet of this hypothesis is that strange organisms and spaceships enter and exit the system through various connecting points, through and into a different universe or reality parallel to our own. A plane of existence that is located next to ours, but for some reason is only able to connect to ours extremely infrequently and just in the night skies around a ranch in northeastern Utah. Enjoying this video so far? Be sure to subscribe for more up-till-date content. Fugel read about the unusual occurrences that took place on the site years before he acquired ownership of the ranch. It describes the efforts that were made by the National Institute for Discovery Science, NIDS, to examine and document the bizarre activity that was taking place on the ranch. Additionally, it includes the recollections of Tom and Ellen Gorman, the cattle ranchers who were formerly the owners of the ranch and who used to use the pseudonyms used in Hunt for the Skinwalker. Robert Bigelow, a businessman from Las Vegas and the founder of NIDS, established the organization with the express purpose of researching unidentified flying objects, UFOs, and other occurrences with similar characteristics. He purchased the ranch from the Gormans in 1996 in order to conduct further research on it, although he continued to employ the Gormans in the maintenance of the ranch until he sold the property to Fugel in 2016. Bigelow and NIDS initially visited the property because of the experiences that the Gorman family had to share with them. When the cattle ranchers first moved into their new home, one of the features that took them by surprise was the presence of deadbolts on both the inside and exterior doors of the property. Even the windows had bolts placed in them. They were also baffled by a condition in the real estate contract that stated there was to be no digging on the ranch without first telling the previous owners. This clause stipulated that there was to be no digging on the ranch without first notifying the previous owners. After the Gorman family had moved into their new house and established a routine, they began to notice some weird occurrences, including the mutilation of several livestock and the sighting of a large wolf that had previously killed a calf and then vanished without leaving any tracks. They saw big black things floating in the air above the ranch, orange formations in the sky that gave the impression that they were transporting passing objects to another realm, and blue orbs that were responsible for the deaths of 3 dogs. Shocking discoveries on Strange Island. Click on the next video to find out more.